Everybody is on the Apple phone. Everybody is utilizing, Meta, right? But how many people are making money off of it? You got an Apple phone, but don't have Apple shares, right? You have Threads, but you ain't bringing in no income from Instagram. See, I'm not mad at Instagram. People be talking about some Instagram this, Instagram that. Well, I own Instagram, right? I own Instagram. I don't own the whole of it, but I own shares of it. So when Instagram makes money, guess who makes money? I make money, right? When Instagram comes out with a new product, guess who just came out with a new product? I just did, right? So when I dropped Threads last week and everybody hopped up on it and got 100 million people that jumped on it, guess what I got? I got paid, right? Meta just went up like $20. Not only did I get paid on one end, on the share side, I got paid on the option side, right? Because I made the play, right? But the problem is that it's so easy to get a little bit of education and start trading, and it's so easy to get a little bit of education and start learning, right? But why aren't we? That extra $25, $50, $100, $200 that you spend on food, that you spend on weed, man, you can be throwing that into the stock market every single month. Every single month. Go look at all of the things that you use and ask, do you own it? Ask yourself, do you own it? Right? You got an Apple phone, do you own Apple? I know you own the phone, but do you own the company? Right? You went and bought the LVMH, but do you own the stock? Because he's one of the richest men in the world because we keep buying up all of his products. Now, when you make it your product, it's not a problem. Not only that, do you know how to make even more money off of it to where, man, the money you make off the product from this owning it could be paying for the product if that's what you want to do. I ain't telling you to go buy it, but I'm saying at least be smart about it. You know what I'm talking about? Like, diversify. Not only that, you can take that money, and of course we got the Acre Boys, which teach you how to buy and flip land, right? So people be like, Keys, how come y'all be talking about digital assets? We don't just talk about digital assets. People only focus on what they want to hear because, it's easier to complain than do work. So we talk about buying you some gold. I just lost a lot of gold. I ain't gonna lie. So talking about gold right now is a sore subject for me. I lost a lot of gold, y'all. Man, I need to go get me some blessings because we must have told me to slow down. Somebody stole some gold of mine and I'm hot right now. I ain't gonna lie. I need some Zoes out in Florida to go do some hunting for me. Anyway, we're gonna get back to it. So, we talk about buying land because I think everybody should buy land. I was gifted some land this year for my birthday. Extremely, extremely, extremely happy about that. Shout out to Acre Boys. And this year, as I take care of everything and try to get all things situated, I want a lot of land. And what I want to do with that land is I want to build on top of it, right? So I also know that, I want to be able to get, I want to be able to take, and have a portfolio that's diversified, right? This diversified portfolio is key. So I don't want to own just one thing, right? Of course, I own some XRP. I own some Bitcoin and things of that nature, right? Cryptocurrency is just one lane. Why? Because if you own it and you let it sit, then the money makes money for you. You ain't have to do anything, right? Same thing, you buy land. Now you learn how to flip on that land. You learn how to cultivate on that land, and you can build on that land, right? You can build tiny homes on that land and things of that nature, right? That's what we're talking about. But yeah, man, diversification is key. So another thing that brings me money is skill sets, right? I know how to market. I know how to brand. I know how to sell, right? I know how to create content, right? I know how to edit. I know how to move. You know what I'm saying? I know how to create products. I know how to design products, right? I know how to speak. So we teach about cultivating assets in the form of skill sets that you can use to produce value, right? So for me, when we talk about creating multiple streams of assets, you have to develop multiple skills. So a person asks, what does 19 Keys do? And to me, it's pretty obvious, right? It's very obvious, right? I may call myself a thought leader, but I run multiple companies and I have a lot of skill sets in order to run those companies, right? So that means that I have a clothing company, right? I design every single last crown. Everything about every crown I designed. Right, I design the colorways, I design, the fabrics, everything about it, right? So that means I'm a designer, right? I choose all of the marketing. I develop all of the assets when it comes to the logos. I design them myself. I hand sketch them. I draw them. Every single thing, right? So therefore, guess what? I'm a designer, right? I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a fashion designer in that sense, right? But at the same time, before I was just doing crowns, we also have shirts. I'm a jewelry designer, right? I design my own jewelry, my own rings, right? My own necklaces that I put on, and we actually even sell those, right? The brother said, cute, that's where the money going, to my pockets, brother. Where do you think a man's money goes? What do you mean? What you thought? They go into my pockets. What you thought I was going to say? I hired my whole family. They go to my family. You know what I'm saying? Like my mom, pops, brothers, sisters. You talking about where the money go? What you talking about where the money go? Y'all don't want black people to make no money, man. What's wrong with y'all? They say where the money go. What you talking about? All this hard work I'm doing, you think I ain't supposed to get no money? Man, y'all be crazy, boy. I swear America is amazing. I'm only addressing it because I actually think it's funny, right? I just told you I did all of that work I just told you I did, and you don't want me to make no money. Man, y'all crazy, boy. I ain't gonna lie, boy. I be working. Like every day, I be doing something, and people be people really don't know how much work I do actually. You know what I'm saying? Like it's an amazing amount. I do things you probably wouldn't even be thinking I'm doing. I be doing editing and creating things and doing it all. So, and I'm just talking about one vertical and one business that I have. I ain't even get to the slew of other ones, right? I ain't even get to the slew of other ones. We just shot an editorial shoot while we was in Africa, right? So we had to put that together. We had to go to 4 different locations. We had to shoot with the models. We had to, import everything. We had to work with designers, photographers, videographers, sit down, come up with the concepts and everything. I'm just talking about one business vertical, something that people don't know at all that I really be doing, right? So when people be asking what Keys do, it's pretty obvious, right, to me, because I do what's necessary, right, in order for me to sustain all these verticals, because I actually have those skill sets, because each one of them I started by myself, right? I started in a room by myself with an idea, and when I didn't have a team, I was my own team, so I had to learn every single skill because I couldn't depend on nobody to do it for me, right? Before I had this platform, I had my own store. All right, and in that store, I did everything: the visual merchandising, the selling, the creating, the designing, the marketing, the branding, right? The orders, right? The shipping, the handling, the customer service, the sales, every single aspect, I did it. I was a one-man machine. And then I started to bring other people in and incorporate other people. I even had art in the store, and I painted all of the art that was in the store, and I used to sell my own art. I'm a multifaceted human being, right? So I'm one of the ones that don't mind doing the work. A lot of people lazy. They feel like, I just want to do what's my passion. Okay. Or I want to do what's my purpose. Okay. But are you living in the highest potential of your purposes? That's what matters. I don't care if you live in your purpose. A lot of people doing their purpose, right? But are you living in the highest potential of it? Because what's the point of finding your purpose if you're only going to be mediocre in it? I used to, we used to have to put together the fashion shows for. We used to put together these multifaceted fashion shows, right, that we used to put together that was fly. And we used to have the models lined up, had to go through the training with them. One time I had to train the brothers how to drill like FOI. It was crazy. I'm going to have to show y'all all of that in my documentary. Then we got the other business, right? Now we got the supplement business where we got the nootropics, the high-end nootropics. So we got to pick the ingredients. We got to source them, right? I had to design the bottles myself, right? We have to do all of the marketing, come up with all the content strategies, right? Have the team meetings behind the scenes, right? We had to figure out, like, we got an office here in Atlanta, right? So, hiring all of the family, training them up so that we can do it. And then hiring your family is hard. It's next level, right? Not only that, right, I designed each one of my websites, right? So I went in there and designed them all myself, right? So, web designer is a whole another thing that I do, So when people be like, I want to do what you do, I be like, I don't think you do, because you don't know how much I do. All right, it's a different conversation, right? So what I'm trying to get to you all is, your skill sets is your assets. You know what I'm saying? As a speaker, as a researcher, now of course we got high level media, somebody who, funds my own campaign and my own shows, right? Have my own team that we hired, right? We do the marketing, or not the marketing, but we do the directing and executive producing, and making sure that every show is designed a certain way so that the viewer gets a certain experience, right? So as a media executive and as somebody that has their own media company, there's a lot of different things that goes into that, right? And that's what we focus on as well. Like, develop skills, be a real human being, learn how to do things, so therefore when you have thoughts, you can execute them and you don't have no excuses. You know what I'm saying? I consider myself to be an analyst. I go on Market Mondays, and when I sit down on Market Mondays, I give my analyzation of the market, of the cycles of the world, right? And if you go watch every single Market Mondays episode, everything we said came true. Every company we talked about, Microsoft is extremely up. We talked about Apple 2-3 years ago dropping a VR headset. They dropped it, right? We talked about blockchain, cryptocurrency, artificial intelligence, right? The financial revolution, right? That's when I'm being an analyst. And as an analyst, you got to do research and development. You understand me? Then we got the activism work, right? I remember being in the streets out here, passing out the food, curating certain thoughts expression when it comes to society and the commentary that's necessary for our people to be able to tap into themselves to understand what's going on, right, in the world. We have global movements. As a speaker, we put together our own tour, right? The tour that we put together mean that, the team had to be able to deal with the staffing. We had to be able to set up our own booths. We had to be able to set up our own production for the show, which we shot a whole short film for it, right? And in this short film, right, we shot this in LA, and then we was able to show that towards the tail end of our tour to the people. So we had to create our own short film. And then when we did the tour, and doing a tour is very hard. It's not easy, right? Anybody want to do a tour, you don't know how expensive it is to do one, right? Number one, you go into some of these theaters go cost you upward to like $50,000 just doing in these theaters, right? So it's really a labor of love doing this. And this is why people have to charge so much in ticket prices. They not being greedy. It's just that if you want to profit, when you talking about tours, you got to be charging $100, $200, right? Sometimes $300 to even make it worth your time. Right? Especially if you navigate and bring in a whole team. You got to fly in 10 people. You got to bust them from place to place. Then you got to have hotels, right? Then everybody got to eat, right? Then you got to bring all of your equipment. You got to set it up, right? We got to make sure that the show runs a certain way. We got to have DJs. We got to have guests, right? Then you got to have your energy right, because you got to go out there and perform every single night. So it's a lot. When I was looking at the bill for one of them, we had to pay they staff at one of these places like $25,000, and they staff didn't do nothing, but there's labor laws that set into it. But now guess what? We have the skill set to put together our own tour or put together a tour for somebody else. So the beauty of it, when you do it yourself, you have the skill set forever. Now you can create a business out of it, right? You can create a business out of it. So, all of these different things allows you to have growth. And a lot of people be afraid to try things that's hard. I don't mind doing the hard thing because I know on the other end I come out with a hard skill. So it's just some game from y'all. That's all. So I ain't even got to go into all of my other different skill sets, but I think it's understood, man. Build yourself up. We do software development. One of the things that we're doing right now, of course, I do product development. So on the back end, I had an industrial designer designing me something, this new type of crown with this new hardware technology embedded in it. And those type of things that we want to do for the future, creating programs, creating schools. Of course, I mentor. People don't know I do mentorship. I haven't started my private mentorship yet, but we do group mentorship where we do education. So we got to put together curriculums and courses and things of that nature. Being a Renaissance man is a lot. So I just want y'all to understand that it requires a lot. Then, I'm a mentor to the mentors. I'm a leader to the leaders. So I do consultancy on the back end, but I only do consultancy for, high level, high net worth individuals. You know what I'm saying? So, able to teach somebody else how to build out things at a high level. And I'm talking about people that, I had an offer. Somebody wanted me to mentor them, right? And they offered me a whole lot of money. But I told them I wasn't ready yet to do private mentorship, but I will be doing it because I'm putting together, a way for people to be able to reach their highest and live at their highest potential in their highest life. Somebody asked me, what am I doing about gang violence? Honestly, I'm not doing anything about gang violence. You know what I'm saying? What you doing about gang violence? I like this brother that's trolling, by the way. I love these type of questions. I don't think everything's my job, right? But at the same time, I am doing something about it because, I have one of the highest level shows, right, in the history of the culture. And we reach millions of people and we change their perspective about life. And we teach them things to where they have new options and new opportunities, right? I'm not doing anything about everything in the world. I'm not Superman, and I appreciate y'all. I'm a young God, but I ain't flying around in every hood talking about some stop. You know what I'm saying? Now, I do know brothers that got that, so I donated to New Era Detroit, right? And New Era Detroit does do intervention, right? I do work with people that do gang violence intervention. There's people that work in the prisons, people that work in the streets. I get in the game, right? If they ever need me, I'll pull up for whatever it is, right? So the guidance and the insight that we do, it leads and it reaches the streets all day long. Because everywhere I go, we get love and respect, and the streets be like, bro, you saved my brother life. Bro was going down the wrong path, man. He started tapping into you, and now he moving correctly. So when I say I ain't doing nothing, I'm really being facetious. I'm really playing, because in all honesty, we know what was going on out here. You know what I'm talking about? But I know y'all want me to goddamn be out there in the streets with videos talking about some stop this and stop that. I just don't operate from the same place and do things the same way. I'm 19 keys, one individual, but it's spread across the globe. So what I'm doing is actually more than 99.9% of people within the world, which is why you have an expectation of me to do more, because I'm doing such a great job. So I appreciate that, and I love the trolling comments. They great because they provide great topics, right? So, yeah, man, we turning boys into men, and when you know yourself, man, you ain't got to join nothing, you know what I'm saying, because you know who you are. You get to move as a young guy, man. You get you some knowledge yourself.